Because of the presence of what some might classify as mature subject matter, a content warning is issued for this review, and profanity filters are inactive. Ironically, mature is the last word I would use to describe the subject of this review.
Hyperdimension Neptunia is a science, fantasy, magical video game. Fuck it. If you look up fan service in the dictionary, you'll see a picture of Hyperdimension Neptunia. And if you look up shame in the dictionary, you'll find a picture of yourself watching Hyperdimension Neptunia. But even so, it may also be the kind of guilty pleasure anime that you make sneering video reviews mocking, but secretly love.
What did you say?
I said, let's laugh at this inferior anime. Then go watch something good like Berserk.
Which one?
2000.
Private?
97. Anyway, the story of Neptunia is much like the titular character. Silly and cute, but occasionally annoying and consistently lead paint swillingly stupid. So, in the magical world of game industry, yes really. For Dakimakura models, goddesses based on video game consoles, yes really, fight over shares, yes really. When they're not hanging out playing video games with each other at the beach or other anime girl activities, yes really. If you somehow manage to make it past the utterly ridiculous concept, you have an utterly ridiculous plot to deal with. This 12-episode series has 3 story arcs, only one of which actually works. But before I get into that, let's meet our leading ladies, starting with the slacker-in-chief, Neptune, aka Purple Heart. Based on the infamous Sega Neptune, she's stupid, unmotivated, and eats a lot of pudding.
Good, then the audience will have no problem identifying with her.
Next is Noire, aka Blackheart, which really should be her civilian name because she's dressed like a pirate. Next up is Vert, aka Greenheart, who's based on the Xbox, and somehow isn't carried around on a palanquin by dudes in armored spacesuits. Finally there's Blanc, aka Whiteheart, aka the Wii.
Aw, they have a toy console for babies.
Hey, just because the controller is kind of shaped like a baby rattle doesn't mean it's for babies. But wait, there's more. The CPU goddesses have little sisters, like Nepgear, who breaks the hell out of the mold for what a little sister is, being smarter, more mature, and taller than Neptune. Next is Uni, who's based on the PSP and like Nepgear has high potential for main character status, as she has an actual obstacle, i.e. can't transform into her magical robot girl form, and motivation, she wants to be like her big sister Noire. Finally, there are the ice climbers Ram and Ram, and they are not the most annoying children on the show. Okay, now you know the main cast, let's look at the arcs. The first and best storyline revolves around CPU Kryptonite, and the sisters needing to step up after Nep and friends are captured. This storyline is similar to Hyperdimension Mark II. Now, sidelining the heavy hitters for the B Squad Metal Gear style may not have been a great idea for a full season, but it still gets a certain level of human emotion out of the main cast.
Which is a nice trick, considering they're all based on lifeless plastic.
The second arc revolves around a set of new characters. Plutia, who's the evil bearded Spock version of Neptune from an alternate universe, except she's less evil and more just makes everyone really uncomfortable. The other is Pishi.
You get it?
All hail the Pishi master race.
There's a spectrum of annoying when it comes to children. Real kids are not all that bad. Lower down are obnoxious movie children. But far down, in the deepest Stygian abyss, are anime children, who are the most obnoxious little shits and just asking for a one-way trip to Abu Dhabi. This significantly undermines her arc, as we're supposed to feel for Neptune and her attempts to find Pishi after she's kidnapped. Then again when she's trying to reach her after she's brainwashed and transformed into Yellowheart, the embodiment of PC gaming. The final arc is like 2 episodes long and comes completely out of nowhere. It's kicked off when an apparently unimportant side character named Ray Wrights turns out to be Atari's retro gaming goddess. She's certifiably insane and hell-bent on bringing about another gaming crash.
'Cause we have to get giant anime explosions from somewhere.
As a finale, it's okay. It explains who Ray is, kinda.
Not really.
And we get a gloriously sappy power of friendship CPUs unite moment. So if you like that kind of thing,
and you do,
at least Hyperdimension ends on a high note. Next, let's look at the action scenes. I could just call them mediocre and move on, but that's not really fair. They do try for action scenes. At least once an episode, one or more of the CPUs will go into battle mode. And to the show's credit, they resist the temptation to just spam canned animation Sailor Moon style. But there's liberal use of speed lines and freeze-frame slowdowns after some dramatic attack, which makes what should be a graceful ballet of guns, swords, and girls in armored swimsuits into a series of comic book panels. Also, defeated enemies just pop out of existence because it's a video game. Now onto the humor, and this is where Neptunia might just blunder its way to victory. First off, there's a variety of humor. None of it sophisticated, but it's numerous in quantity at least.
You just described a comedy buffet.
That's a good way to look at it.
Tell me, will you also feel sick and ashamed afterward?
Only a little. Anyway, Neptunia's favorite joke is a random video game reference.
Does that even work as a joke?
The cake is a lie?
Private, that sucked ass.
Well, you're due for at least one laugh an episode, as some of the references are legit funny. Another joke they're fond of is the shock factor of their moe cuties dropping profanity. Blonde in particular has a mouth. And yes, that's usually pretty funny. I never found Nep having the IQ of a goldfish funny, but I can see how that could work as a joke. And the cute, fun atmosphere helps even the lame jokes not be as cringy as they could be. Finally, let's look at the art design. To visualize its video game world, Neptunia has gone with a techno-fantasy-esque vibe. The CPU form of all the girls stand between eye candy pinups, over-designed anime bullshit, and actually kinda cool. Purple Heart and Black Heart look the best, while everyone else is meh. The various kingdoms look appropriately different from one another, but we rarely ever get to see any of them. Mostly we just hang out in Planetoon, which looks like any futuristic city. There are some scenes in Steampunk Last Station, but it's mostly just Noire's tower. Meanwhile, Louis gets like one establishing shot, and Leanbox is basically just Vert's house.
Wow, it's like Japan doesn't care about the Xbox.
Finally, the monsters are really stupid looking most of the time. Like, if you've ever seen the pre-made monsters in an RPG Maker game, that's what they look like. The lone exception are the Dogus, who are a nice Dragon Quest reference. Oh yeah, and do men just not exist in game industry? Like, 99% of the background characters are female. Not even Gen 1 MLP was this bad. Okay, now it's time to break down the good and the bad in Hyperdimension Neptunia, the animation. On the good side, there are a couple legitimately funny moments here and there, and some heartwarming scenes. And if you really, really, really must see a fanservice anime, you could do worse. On the other hand, an action show, this is not. The story is a hot mess, and the visuals are uninspired. But even if it was dumb and mediocre, I give Hyperdimension Neptunia an affectionate 2 out of 5. If you're only going to see one movie or show about video games, see Tron. But if you're only going to see 2, see Tron and Wreck-It Ralph. But if you're only going to see 9, see Tron, Wreck-It Ralph, Last Starfighter, Ready Player One, King of Kong, Dot Hack, Sword Art Online, The Wizard, and Hyperdimension Neptunia. Now, if you're interested in more reviews of anime, movies, TV shows, comic books, or video games, check out my channel right here on YouTube. And find my Facebook and Deviantart pages for video updates and more. Thank you for watching.
Hey kids, today's show is brought to you by the letter 4 and the number potato! I'm a stupid private.